Tov, good evening. We'll continue with our learning. We're going to continue on chapter 97, Hishtapchut Nefesh. Let us make our Hishtapchut. Hareinu mikasher, it's me v'atzmin, b'lim etarzu l'kol ha'tzadikim ha'amitim shebenuenu and kol ha'tzadikim ha'amitim shochnefa al-kedoshim shebetzem v'frat l'beinu kadosh tzadik yisod ulam nachal maveh v'kol chochma Rebbe Nachman fegi na'anach nachmo nachal niyuman zchusam geinu v'kol yisrael amen. Please, learning that please Hashem may be well. You should send a fresh lema to all the people who need healing, including Chaim David Bechane Golda, Yonah ben Yosef ben Yonah, Shimon ben Sarah, Itan ben Rachalea. Anybody else?
Maimon ben Chana.
Maimon ben Chana.
Michael David ben Yasher.
Michael David ben
Yasher.
Miriam Esther.
Oh.
There. Eli Melech Ezra. Ben Chana Mindel. Kol Am Yisrael. Fos Nefesh, Fos Guf. Oi! Tough. Good, let's go. 97, Tzadik Zayin. כמבואר בדברי רבנו זיכרונו לברכה, שהפליגו מאוד במעלת קורבן מנחה, שהיא קורבן העוני. That it's brought in the words of our sages that they were very, very greatly praising the power, the greatness of the mincha offering, the mincha sacrifice, she korban ha'oni, which is the offering that's brought by a poor person. Because a poor person, because the poor person can't afford to buy himself a bull or a sheep or a ram. Nevertheless, that Hashem allowed him to bring to achieve the same spiritual status as if he had offered one of the animals, that Hashem permitted the poor person to bring 1/10 of an ephah of flour. Because we know that this offering of the poor person is extremely precious. That's what the sages say, that Hashem absolutely is crazy about this offering, this mincha offering. This poor person brings this offering because it says in the Torah, the verse that describes this offering, v'nefesh ki sakriv korban mincha, a soul that will sacrifice the mincha offering. L'ramez shema aleh alav k'tzuv ki'ilu ikriv nafsho, that the pasuk says to him specifically that he is pure in his sacrifice, as if he completely offered himself up in this offering. And in the Midrash, it says about the greatness of this sacrifice, that not only this, but all the other types of offerings that are brought by regular people, they can only be brought in their wholeness. But the mincha offering can be brought as a half an offering. Half of it in the morning, half of it in the evening, and that's describing the ability that the other sacrificial offerings must come all in one shot. But the preciousness, the power of the spiritual offering of the poor person is such that he can even bring part of it in the morning, part of it in the evening. In other words, part of it in one time of his experience of how he's dealing with his life, and then part of it another time. Not only that, about this preciousness of this korban, but not only that, a poor person who brings this offering, the verse describes to him that he has caused an offering, he has offered something which causes a power from one end of the universe to the other. And also the sages said regarding this in the Midrash of Lech Lecha, when Avraham Avinu is having the vision, when Hashem shows him that his descendants are going to be in Mitzrayim, so he has the vision, and the sages say there about this vision, because Avraham Avinu, it says all the sacrifices were revealed to Avram at this time, because that's what he saw. Eglah, he saw a calf mishlesh, a calf divided into three. Ve'ez mishulash, and a goat divided into three. V'tor ve'gozal, and a dove and a bird. Shem bechinas parim va'ofos. That these are all the ingredients. When the verse says that you should bring a bull or a bird in this, and so that says that's Avraham Avinu saw all these possibilities of what would be brought on in the mizbeach in the holy temple. He saw all these possibilities in this vision. But even Avraham Avinu wasn't given the ability to appreciate the power of this poor person's offering. But and there's an opinion over there that says Avram, that even the poor person's offering was revealed to Avram, but that when it was revealed, it was only revealed as a hint, not as a full blown revelation. And that's to show us that Hashem wants that this is all about the power of the poor person's offering. That's explained the power of that also in the book, in the Sefer Zohar, the holy book of the Zohar. That says there that this poor person's offering is extremely, extremely precious in Hashem's eyes. Because the main thing, the main way we achieve the spiritual power of the sacrificial offering, the Beis Hamikdash, is now through prayer. Because this is the main, through prayer. Because what's a korban? Korban, we know, is the language of karov, to be close, right? So the idea of coming close is what the idea of tshuva, of returning in our closeness within our relationship with Hashem. And so therefore, the main korban, which is to come close, is now through prayer, and that prayer is the main way we do tshuva. As it says, that take with you words and return to Hashem. That's what it says. How do you return to Hashem? With words. You bring your words with you. You use your words. You talk to Hashem, and you tell Him about your entire life, and that's how you do tshuva, and you draw close to Hashem. And our sages said, that's all that Hashem really wants. It's hard to believe, and that's one of the toughest battles that we go through in our Western culture that promotes physical action. If you can't see it, if you can't feel it, if you haven't done anything, if you haven't made something change in the physical world that you can observe, what have you done? You haven't done anything. And here's Hashem says, my children, the real thing I want from you is words. And that's not easy for us to believe. And I just was reminded of the first Likutei Halachos in Chanukah, the word Chanukah, which we're coming to Kislev this week, is Rosh Chodesh, Chodesh Tov, everybody. So the Chanukah is the word chinuch. And Rebbe Nachman says over there that a person has to be mitchanech. We have to educate ourselves in serving Hashem. So we have to teach ourselves over and over. We have to remind ourselves, prayer, saying words. Like before I came to these teachings, I used to, most of the time, if I was learning Torah, I'd be sitting there and reading it with my eyes and not saying it out loud because it's not comfortable. I'm not used to it. But then I saw these ideas that, no, you got to say words. That's what Hashem wants, is these words. Because a person needs to know that when he feels his impoverishment and his downtroddenness and how far he is in his physical existence and his spiritual existence, maybe the person in his physical existence, but most people don't have what they really want. And they feel far away, and a lot of people don't even bikoshi in with great difficulty have what they need, and they feel so far and not taken care of by Hashem. And ruchniot even more so. People how close are we? How pure are we? How tahar? How much can we keep away from non-godly thoughts? How much do we remember in each moment Hashem's presence, the godliness in each moment? But he says, but when we recognize that, when we get to that point, so that when we feel so far away from Hashem, and we feel like who am I? Who am I that Hashem should listen to my prayer? Who am I that my words are important to Hashem? He says that when that person's feeling that far, what good is it for me to pray? God doesn't care. I'm so far. I'm not a tzaddik. I'm so far away. And he says also, and even if I try to pray, I don't say things so nicely. I don't know what to say. Like you look at Rav Nassim's Likutei Tfilos, and you see how to pray there, and it's like embarrassing. Like I don't know how to pray like that. Maybe I shouldn't even bother. No, he says no. That's the point. that the person who feels so lowly and feels like he can't even speak words of prayer properly, afa pichen, כשיסגבר, להספלל ולסוח לפניו, ויסברך, איך שיוכל, מתוך מרירוס, עניוסו וגלוסו, begashmius v'ruchnius. When a person takes himself by his students and says, you know what, even though I feel so far, even though I feel like maybe Hashem's not really going to listen to what I have to say, that doesn't care, even though I don't really feel like I can say things very well, even though, when a person grabs himself by his two hands and forces himself, even though he's feeling so bitter and so heavy and it's so hard to force himself to say a few words to Hashem, and nevertheless he does it out of his poverty, out of his exile, out of his physical and spiritual exile, in the aspect of tefillah aniki atof lifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. When a person, the prayer of a poor person, like that swoons, if a person is carrying water and he suddenly starts to faint and the water spills out, right? So he says that's this idea that you're so overwhelmed and your mamish, like you start to faint, and then the water spills out. Yishpoch sicho, lifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho, kamo hashofech mayim, just like somebody's pouring out water. B'chinas shifchi kamayim libech, like pour forth your heart before me like water. Afilu im nidmelo shehu bli seichel v'li kavanah harui. Even if it seems like mamish just can't say a word, I can't think, I don't know what to say. I know I should say, but I'm not really feeling it so much. I'm not so enthusiastic. Afal pichen es kol asher im levavo shofech sichot lefanav yisbarach. Nevertheless, he forces himself. Hashem, I want so much to pray. I'm such a schlepper. I don't feel like you can listen to me. But I saw this teaching from Rebbe Nachman that you really like it when I push myself to talk to you. So I'm pushing myself right now. That's what I'm doing, Hashem. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to push myself. I don't really feel like. I feel heavy. I don't feel enthusiastic. I don't feel your connection. I feel like, what's it worth? You're really going to listen to me? But I'm listening, Hashem. I'm trying. I saw Rebbe Nachman teaches me that you like this, that I'm so far, and yet I push myself to talk to you. So Hashem, I'm trying. I'm going to talk. I'm talking to you. Please, Hashem, let this be true. Let it be reveal to me. Let me perceive how precious this is to you, because I certainly am not feeling like it's precious to you. So that's what you want to talk. You want to be truthful with Hashem. גם אם התפילה הזאת בעצמו מעורבת בפסולת ובמחשבות מקולקלות הרבה. And even this tefillah, it starts to be filled, it's all mixed up with stupid ideas and damaged thoughts, a lot of them. We start talking about Hashem, and Hashem, I don't know, like, what am I doing? My life is like so hard, and you get involved in like talking and complaining, which is false thoughts, right? We start to get involved in that. These are the things that can happen. He says, even so, even if that's the way it is, because he says obviously a sacrificial offering with all sorts of blemishes, an animal with all sorts of blemishes, you don't put up on the mizbeach, on the altar. So you might think that, why should I do that for here? So no. He says even that. Rabim rachamav yisbarach kol kach. Hashem's mercy on us is so great. Shafilo ech shehu. Even no matter how he is, no matter how low, no matter how verblungent his tefillah, because he forced himself, he's so overwhelmed, he's so bitter, he doesn't feel like he's fighting back his resentment to Hashem, because Hashem is like, he's going every day and he's trying, and still it's so hard, and he fights his way to say, through all that impoverishment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he fights his way to talk to Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu merachem alav umikabla. Hashem has total compassion on him, and he accepts his prayer as if it was the biggest prayer, the most eloquent prayer of the biggest tzaddik. V'lo od, ela shetfila zois davka magia tikuna ad en ketz. And not only this, but it's actually this prayer specifically that its rectification, its spiritual power, reaches mamish the ends of the universe. Misof ha'olam v'ad sofo. Because we have to understand and remember, and that's part of our education, especially in our time. We have to remember that Hashem threw us down into this exile. And the neshama is very, very much in pain all the time from being here. And especially during this time in history. This is the time that tzaddikim said they don't want, the great tzaddikim said they don't want to see the end, because they knew how heavy it was going to be. So therefore, a person who's mamish overwhelmed by the heaviness of this world and still fights to have some emunah and still fights to make his connection with Hashem, that's the most precious of all for Hashem. That's the actual tikkun. That's this time. That's this time, because everybody who's ever tried to do any of this type of serious relationship with Hashem in their Torah and mitzvahs and tefillah and knows that the heaviness hits, knows that the resistance hits, and the more you try to be in kedusha, the more, and with a heart, the more you're going to find the resistance. So that person, that's the main point. This heaviness was there so that we would have this experience of feeling so far. And because we go through and we have emunah and bitachon to keep praying, listen to the tzaddikim, listen to Rebbe Nachman, listen to those tzaddikim say, tell us about how precious this is. And we give it our all, even if our all is like, one little sigh, right? That may be our all. But that's that prayer is mamish the most powerful prayer in the entire universe. That this prayer specifically extremely precious. And it's a secret that you can't understand. Because the arguments of the Christians why you need yashka is because we're sinners and we can't be rectified. We can't come back to God because God's too perfect. I'm sure you've all heard that. Yeah, it's familiar, that argument, right? You've heard it before? Well, if you haven't, that's one of their arguments. Okay? So you see here, that's not an argument. Because no, that's not, Hashem Mamish has so much mercy that even though it's true, their argument, actually, I take that back, I don't want to say it that way. Their point is a valid point. Their point is a valid point. That really, according to the strict laws of spiritual physics, what's the word I'm looking for? One of the two terms together that don't work. Anyway, you know what I mean. That is it's such a secret how it could be that a damaged person like me, that I can say prayer that's the most powerful prayer in the entire universe. That's a secret. And it's a secret that how great, how extended is Hashem's compassion for the person who, at the very least, never gives up from calling out to Hashem. And this is where we are. The final redemption is dependent on this reaching out, of calling out and never giving up to call out to Hashem. That even if you're mamish in the lowest level of total mamish in the dirt and can't do anything, and you can barely move and you can barely get away from drinking and being drunk or whatever it is, that you're in the mamish, the most in poverty, you're going after women, you're going after all the taivas, God forbid. Even if you're fallen so far, guess what? The main tikkun of tshuva in this time is to never, ever, ever despair from calling out to Hashem, even if you're in the lowest place. That therefore this powerful secret, this deep, deep secret, was so important to keep hidden because it's so powerful that even Avraham Avinu either wasn't given an understanding of it, or even if he was given an understanding, it was only a hint to it. Because it's impossible to reveal in a explicit way the secret of how far Hashem's mercy goes. Because see, Avraham Avinu, he had this intrinsic sense of tahara and kedusha, and he was able to live his life completely aware and full of godliness. He was never involved in only pleasuring himself. And like, why do we do things? Oh, because I want to feel good. I'm gonna, whatever it is. There's so many things that we do because I want to feel a little better right now. Okay, and that's because we're weak. But Avraham Avinu had no connection to that. Avraham Avinu he was full of chesed, but he would have for Avraham Avinu understood that Hashem is going to get rid of idolaters. Even though he argued for Sodom, but he said, okay, maybe there's 5 righteous. He understood that Hashem's going to wipe out the wicked. Okay, maybe there's 10 righteous people. You're not going to destroy for this. Okay, that's. But it was always about the righteous people, right? In the end, things are so down that we have what's called the Poshei Yisrael, the sinners of Israel. And even though they're sinners, Rebbe Nachman talks about, we saw it last time, that they're still called Poshei Yisrael. The name of Israel is still inscribed upon them. Because the Chazde Hashem ki lo samu. Because the Hashem's chesed never ends. V'lo chal rachamav, and His mercy never ceases. V'otzem chesed hazeh misgala b'chol dor v'dor al yedei tzaddikim. And the depth of this chesed is revealed in each and every generation through the tzaddikim. Shemam shimchim b'chinas anis notzitzus Mashiach, that they're drawing forth the illumination and the fluorescence of the light of Mashiach. She'osa atzmo tamid ani ve'avyon, because the Mashiach himself, he makes himself, even though he's the greatest tzaddik, he likes to hang out with the schleppers. He's the greatest tzaddik, but he says, makes himself, David HaMelech says, ani ve'avyon, I'm a pauper and a destitute person. Bechinas ani she'amar David, and this is bechinas ani v'rochev ala chamor. Right, but the tradition is Mashiach comes in like a poor person riding on a donkey, riding on a mule. And Mashiach's going to be mainly busy to fix up, dealing with and to save all these poor people, all the people who are impoverished in their deeds, in their mitzvahs, in their kedusha. Yichus al dal the avion is going to have compassion on all the poor people and all the impoverished souls. Ve meramzin lano yikras atfila al oni ki atov b'tzaraso afilu im tfilas ha'ani azois ena b'shlemus ad heichan magia tekuna. And this is what's revealing to us the preciousness of the prayer of this poor person, the person who feels like, I'm so far, why should I pray? That he prays anyway. And even though his prayer is not really a great, eloquent prayer, and it's mixed up with all sorts of broken, messed up thoughts, but nevertheless Hashem receives this prayer. And and this power has the ability to mamish make changes from one end of the universe to the next. So we should mamish remember, and again in the time of Chanukah of illumination, we don't believe enough in our prayer. If we did, we'd be praying all the time. I don't believe enough in my prayer. I have to keep talking to myself and remind myself that Hashem not only loves my prayer, not only wants my prayer, but my prayer has the power to help the whole world. And I don't believe that enough. Be honest, straight with you, I don't believe it enough, because if I did, I'd be doing it much more. Baruch Hashem, I'm believing it more and more. I'm teaching myself. I'm re-educating myself. I'm talking about it. I'm learning about it. And so I remember more and more. And I'm doing it more and more. But I'm still far from doing it to the percentage of time that I could be doing it. And all of us, I'm sure. So Mamish would believe we need to truly internalize this deeply. Tov. Another one? Tzadik HaChes. Good. Let's go on to Tzadik Ches 98. The main way to guard the memory. When we talk about memory, most people think about being able to remember something as like, oh, I got to remember what I'm supposed to do. I want to remember my goals. I want to remember the mistakes I made so I don't make them again. These are the things that people think about when they think about memory. But no, he says the main guarding of memory, the main memory we want to have is to remember what? Godliness. Right now, see, we can either be right now when we're sitting here learning, we're used to, I'm a person, you're a person, we're hearing, we're listening, we're reading. These are all things that people do, and so it's easy to get lost in the regular behavior of people, as opposed to step back 1 degree and remember, oh, this that's happening is an expression of godliness. This is happening as an expression of the will of the Creator, and that just that awareness in the activity shifts everything. It's a very, very fine line. And in Mamish, but it's easy to forget that final line. The fine line between I'm learning Torah and, wow, God's presence and Torah is being learned because this is the Ratzon of Hashem, and that's a very big difference in consciousness. And that's the memory that we want to have. That's the Shmiras Zikaron. And so how do we do this? So that we can remember Hashem more and more and not forget. I mean, think about it for yourself. What percentage of your day do you think about Hashem? When you're washing dishes, are you thinking of Hashem? When you're putting on your clothes, when you have to go when you're saying a bracha, are you really remembering Hashem? You're just saying the bracha because you have to. We're really talking to Hashem and saying the words to Hashem. Am I getting up and saying Moda Ani because I have to? Or am I getting up and saying Moda Ani because I really feel the gratitude of Hashem? Wow, you gave me a new day. Right? So you think, oh, I'm going to try to remember that more. I'm going to try to remember that, to remember godliness more. Guess what? That won't work. That's not the main way. The main way is al yedei diburim kedoshim, by saying a lot of holy words. Ki hadiburim hem kelim lekabel al yadam his notatus o en sof yisbarach. That every word we say of kedusha is a vessel, and it holds what? The light of consciousness. So that when you surround yourself with all these vessels, we can't see them, but they're there. These vessels are being filled with the light of consciousness, and they're illuminating so that, oh yeah, it's God, oh yeah, it's God, oh yeah, it's God, oh yeah, it's God. And everything, the more we say, the more we use our time to say these holy words, the more we remember, the less we forget. And the more you speak, the more and more you say words that are holy words, the more you reveal godliness to yourself and also in the environment. And you merit remembering Hashem more. What are holy words? Torah and Tefillah. So we have to say a lot of words of Torah, we have to say a lot of words in Tefillah. And again, this is an important thing for people like me who grew up reading the Torah instead of saying it out loud. You have to make the vessel. You have to say these words out loud. Va'al yecharash, va'al yishkot, and don't be silent, and don't be mute, and don't be silent. Va'al yitem demelo, and don't let yourself be still. In other words, just what I was saying. You can't do it silently. You can't do it with stillness. You got to say the words. Because you need lots and lots and lots of holy words. Because you need this illumination in front of you, around you, all time. Understand and train yourself. This is what I've been training myself too. I've been training myself to see the word coming out my mouth as a vessel. And also it's an offering. Each word is like a gift. I think we talked about it maybe last week or the week before. That I try to like Rebbe Nachman teaches, be like a little child before Hashem. Just, can you remember when you were a little kid? Or you ever had where you were a little kid, you've seen the little kid gives his parent a present that he made. Right? Little kid, he's in kindergarten, he's in Gan, he made a little present. He's so happy giving his parent the present. And the parent, what is a little piece of paper with some glue and little sparkles? What is it? But the parents say, wow, this is great. And the kids, and that's what we want to do. Each word is like little, I made this word in Gan for you, God. I made this word in Gan for you. Right? And so we have and each time this word come out, another word you're filling more and more concentrated these vessels that are holding what? The light of awareness, the light of consciousness, the light of Hashem. So another nice way to understand this is let's say there was a beautiful fragrance that you smelled and you wanted to capture it and keep it around you all the time. So what could you do? You make like a vessel, something to hold the perfume so it stays with you. Right? So similar idea. So you're making vessels to hold the perfume of the fragrance of godliness, of the awareness of godliness, by saying holy words. And we have to illuminate that awareness and connect it to our thoughts, to our mind, and to our hearts, to our feelings. What's in our thoughts? Well, to think thoughts about Torah and godliness and the presence and being aware and yearning for, and being aware that what I want is to come closer to this presence of Hashem, and therefore I put it in my heart. My heart will feel what? Simcha, love, yira, awe, and yearning. Right? If we have godliness in our awareness, then we have to attach it to our minds and our hearts. And we want to get to the point we don't remember, not even for a moment do we forget Hashem. Because right now, honestly, Baruch Hashem, I forget Hashem so often, but it's way less than what it used to be, right? And each time I learn this, I'm trying, educating myself, reminding myself, asking for it. Please Hashem, all these things, let me be able to guard my memory by remembering and pushing myself to say tremendous amounts of holy words. Holy words are prayer, holy words are Torah, and holy words are sicha, hitbodedut. Holy words are sichat chaverim, when you're talking to your friend in your own language, just like you talk to Hashem, like your best friend, you're talking to your actual best friend, you're talking about Hashem. These are also part of holy words. Um, and that is the end of Tzadik Chet. So I bless us as the month of Kislev, and when we the idea, it's not quite the same. They make a play with the word palindrome, I think it's called, where you Kislev is like lave, in Kislev, a pocket full of the heart. You got your heart in your pocket; it's available to take out and use it for service of Hashem. So the aspect of Hanukkah is which in Kislev, which is the aspect of educating ourselves. So I bless us. We should take this seriously. This is the most important stuff. This is the Geula. To say a lot of holy words. I bless us to believe in it. Believe that no matter how far we are, that these words are so precious to Hashem, and we can say them and continue to push ourselves to say more and more holy words and illuminate awareness of Hashem to the point where mamish we don't forget Hashem at all. Can you hear it, son? And it'll be obviously the illumination of Mashiach. It's kind of been here and remain. Chodesh Tov, Chodesh Tov. Thank you for joining us. Please continue coming in Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock in Nachlaot at the home of Avram Karlin. You can leave us a note on the Facebook Breslov Learning Center if you'd like to more information about where to meet us. Also, these have been, as you're seeing, these are available on the video. If you'd like to join us on Skype or Google Hangouts, that's also a possibility. So please, again, contact us through the Breslov Learning Center Facebook page, and we'll look forward to sharing a lot of good words, holy words together. King USO.